Good evening, welcome back to Language Learning Junction. In today's video, we will be discussing some confusions that people face in using tenses. Tenses in English can be tricky and many people often confuse them. So we'll be discussing some common confusions and how to avoid them. First, we'll be discussing simple present or present simple versus present continuous. Mixing up the present simple and present continuous when talking about current activities is very common. So we will be discussing them and comparing both the types so you can really find out where to use them and how to use them. First, we are doing present simple. Present simple is used for habitual actions, general truth, and fixed arrangements. Something that you always do. The rule for simple present is subject, which is your noun or pronoun, your verb, your action word. It can be any action word: sleep, drink, learn, teach, talk, run, walk, anything. If you have a singular noun, you're going to use S or ES. If you're having a plural noun, you will not be using S or ES. For example, she reads every night. It's an example of a habit. She has a habit of reading every night. So we'll be using simple present tense because this is something that she always does. She reads every night. Now, if you notice, I have added an S at the back of the verb read because she is a singular noun. The sun rises in the east. General truth. It's a fact. It's a factual thing. So sun is singular, obviously we have added an S here. The sun rises in the east. The train leaves at 6 p.m. tomorrow. It's a fixed arrangement, something that has been set up prior. So the train, which is a singular noun, we're using leaves at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Now you must be wondering that tomorrow is a future tense. Why are we using a simple present tense here? Well, in general, the present simple tense is not typically used to describe fixed future arrangements. Instead, the present continuous, which is like where we use going to, is usually preferred for this purpose. However, there is one exception. The simple present tense is used when referring to a fixed schedule or timetable, such as for public transportations, events, or formal meetings. The train leaves at 6 p.m. tomorrow. In this sentence, leaves is in the present simple tense here, used here because the train's departure is a fixed schedule. It's a fixed arrangement. So we are saying we're using simple present tense for this specific type. The next one is present continuous. Present continuous is used for actions happening at the moment of speaking. It's happening right now. For example, she is driving right now. It is happening today, in this moment. The rule for present continuous is subject plus helping verb plus verb plus ing. It's pretty simple. Subject is your noun or pronoun. What's a helping verb? So helping verb is the word that comes before the actual verb. So that's your actual verb with ing, and this is your helping verb. We have is, am, are as helping verbs for this particular present continuous tense. For this particular tense, we use is, am, are. Is we use for he, she, it. Am we used for I, and are we used for we, they, you. These are the three helping verbs that we use for present continuous tense for this particular type. So you use simple present tense when you talk about some habitual action, fixed arrangement, or general truth, something that you always do. And we use present continuous when we are talking about something which is happening in this moment, which is happening right now. Now the second distinction is between present perfect and simple past tense. The simple past tense and the present perfect tenses are often confused because they both refer to actions that occurred in the past. However, they serve different purposes and are used in different distinct contexts. Here's a breakdown of the common confusion. It is used for actions that occurred at an unspecified time or have relevance to the present. So we're talking about present perfect here. The rule for present perfect is subject plus have or has. Have is used for plural nouns. We, they, you. I is an exception which is used with the plurals. Has is used with singulars, which is he, she, it. And then past participle or verb form 3. For example, I have finished my homework. Here the focus is on the work being finished and not when it finished. In simple past tense, it is used for actions that happened at a specific time in the past. Now, if you can differentiate between the two of them, this happened at an unspecified time, you don't know when, but this happened at a specific time in the past, you know when the action happened. The rule for simple past is subject plus V2, which is your verb form 2. The example would be, I finished my homework yesterday. When you say yesterday, you're specifying when the work got finished. Now we'll be discussing some confusions where people use present perfect and simple past incorrectly. Simple past is used for actions that happened at a specific time in the past, whereas this is used for actions that happened at an unspecified time before now. In this one, the focus is on the fact that the action happened, not when it happened. This one here, the time is often stated or understood from the context. For example, we'll say, I went to Paris last year. When we say last year, the time is specific. I have been to Paris. In this one, the time is not specified, the experience is specified. So using the simple past when the time isn't specified or important, the incorrect would be I went to Paris. The right one would be I have been to Paris. Without a time reference, it may confuse the listener about when it happened. The second one is simple past is used when the action is completed and has no direct connection to your present, whereas present perfect is used when the action has relevance to the present or if its effects are still felt. For example, we'll say she lost her keys yesterday. Now the event is in the past and it's over now. In this one, if we say she lost her keys yesterday, we're one specifying the time and it has no connection to your present because she lost them yesterday and it's over now. Whereas here we say she has lost her keys. When we say she has lost her keys, she still doesn't have them now. So it's relevant to your present. So the common confusion is using the simple past when the action's relevance to the present is important. For example, I lost my wallet. If the loss is still affecting you now, so it's incorrect. I have lost my wallet, implying you still don't have it now. The third confusion is the simple past tense refers to completed actions, often with a focus on when they happened, whereas present perfect tense refers to experiences or actions that occurred at some point in the past without specifying when. So this specifies when the action happened. This specifies some action happened without specifying when. For example, I visited Japan in 2015. The visit happened in a specific year. In this one, I have visited Japan. It's an experience you've had but no specific time given. So the confusion is using the simple past when you want to emphasize the experience rather than when it happened. I visited Japan. Wrong. I have visited Japan if you're just mentioning the experience without a time focus. So the correct one is I have visited Japan. The next confusion is you use simple past tense when the action's time is clear or understood from context, whereas present perfect time is used when the time of the action is not clear or when it doesn't matter. In that case, he moved to New York last month. He has moved to New York. The time isn't specified, the focus is on the fact that he now lives there. So he moved to New York last month. We are also mentioning what time the action happened. In this one, we're saying he has moved to New York. The time is not specified. The focus is on the fact that he now lives there. So the common confusion is using the simple past when the time isn't clear or important. So the incorrect would be she broke her leg. We're not specifying when. The correct one would be she has broken her leg. The focus is on her current situation, not when it happened. So the last distinction is between will and going to. Will and going to is used for future simple tense. The future simple tense, will and going to are both used to talk about future actions or events, but they are used in different contexts depending on the intention, plan or certainty of the action. Here's a breakdown of the differences and common confusion. Will is used for spontaneous decisions. It is used for decisions made at the moment of speaking, spontaneous actions or offers. For example, I will call him now. The decision to call was made just now, whereas going to is used for plans or intentions that were decided before the moment of speaking. For example, I'm going to call him later. You planned to call him before now. You were not going to call him just now, you planned it beforehand. So the common confusion is using will for planned actions. For example, I will visit my grandparents this weekend. If it's a plan, you have to use it in going to and not will. The correct one will be I'm going to visit my grandparents this weekend, because this indicates that you have already decided it, you have already planned it. The second confusion is around the evidence. Will is more used when the prediction is we make a prediction in general and it's not evidence based. So will is used for predictions about the future, especially when they're more uncertain or based on personal beliefs rather than evidence. So this is not evidence based. Going to is used for prediction when there is clear evidence or something in the present that suggests a clear outcome. For example, I think it will rain tomorrow. It's a general prediction without any specific evidence. Look at those clouds, it's going to rain. The clouds provide evidence to rain. So the correct one would be look at those clouds, it's going to rain, because it's providing you evidence. So the common confusion is we use will when there is no evidence, but we have to use going to when there is clear evidence. For example, it will rain soon. You can't predict something that you don't have evidence for. You're going to say it is going to rain soon because you can see clouds building up, so you have evidence to make that statement. So will is used, will is used where the prediction is in general, but going to is used when prediction is based more on evidence. So the summary is we use will for spontaneous decisions, offers, promises and requests, predictions without specific evidence, and formal statements, whereas we use going to for pre-made plans, intentions, predictions based on present evidence, definite arrangements. So understanding these distinctions will help you choose the correct form depending on the context, ensuring clear and accurate communication about future events.
I really hope you liked the video. Follow for more such videos.